First responders, thank you for all that you do. I'm Garrett Martin of the Alberta First Responder Mortgage Program, a program I put together myself. After spending 8.5 years in law enforcement, I got my mortgage broker's license, and now I'm a proud sponsor of the Alberta First Responder Association and doing mortgages for first responders. No matter where you are in Canada, reach out. We're talking exclusive rate discounts, cashback offers, and guidance from someone who's been in your boots. I know the demands of the job, and I know how to make homeownership easier. Whether you're buying, renewing, or refinancing, I'll compare top lenders from across Canada to save you money. So visit GarrettMartinMortgages.com or text me at 403-915-1025 and let's get to work for you. Thank you for your service.
Sirens, Slammers, and Service, a podcast for female first responders by female first responders. My name is Nikki Cloutier, and I will be your host. As a former correctional officer in Alberta for almost 2 decades and the founder of Blue Line Fitness Testing, which provides law enforcement fitness testing and first responder wellness workshops, I started this podcast as a way for female first responders to share the trials, tribulations, and triumphs of their daily work. I want to showcase the unique perspectives, skill sets, and personalities that women bring to a first responder career and share their stories. So get ready to laugh your ass off, learn a whole bunch, and be inspired by some pretty badass women. Let's go. Hey guys, I am back, and I am back tonight with 3 absolute rock stars. I am joined tonight by 3 ladies from the city of Leduc Fire Service. Roslyn O'Connor, who's been with them for 10 years. She was previously an EMT with Edmonton Metro. Emily Montgomery, who has been with city of Leduc for 11 years, but has been a firefighter for 16 and has been with EMS for 14 years. And Sinead Clancy, who's been with the city of Leduc for 10 years. And all 3 of these badass women are also Firefit champions, participants. This is the first year that all 3 of them have competed, and Roz is in her 2nd season. And these amazing women qualified for nationals in June in Calgary. Nationals coming up in September, the 13th to the 15th in St. Catharines, Ontario. And I got the privilege and the honor to get them on the podcast tonight, guys, and interview them. And I am fucking pumped about it. So I'm going to jump right in. Hey, Roslyn. Hey, Emily. Hey, Sinead. How are we?
Good. Thanks so much for having us.
Good. I'm glad to have you guys here. I'm super excited about this. And I want to make the best use of our time as we can, because we've got 3 amazing women on here and I want to make sure everybody has time for their stories. But I'm going to jump right into Roslyn. I want you to tell me, you're in your 2nd season of Firefit, been with City of Leduc for 10 years. How did we get into fire? What brought us to fire? What was the kind of drawing factor? Did you always want to be in fire, or was this just something that you kind of were led to?
No, I initially started in EMS because I found it was an accessible career path to get into. The barrier to entry is pretty low. And then I moved to Leduc. Really wanted to work in the community that my kids were going to be raised in. And so I applied for the fire service, and it turns out it was 10 out of 10 the right decision. Being a firefighter is way more enjoyable than being a paramedic. Firefit came pretty easy. I joined when we had a different competitor group. It was kind of just one girl and another guy doing it. And I decided to jump in and see if I liked it. And I did. I liked it quite a lot. And then she moved away. I had babies, so it kind of fell by the wayside. And then this year when it was brought up, me, Sinead, and Emily jumped on it. And it's been a really great decision. I, unfortunately, am crippled about 360 days of the year. So I wasn't able to do any individuals this year, but the girls were, and they crushed it.
Love that. Absolutely love that. So what about fire? Like, what was it? Was it just, like that challenge to go into fire? Was it, like the different work you got to do? What was it that made you really kind of think, I want to do this fire thing?
Well, I'm good at it, so that helped. In fire specifically, you're really challenged physically and mentally. And the camaraderie that you build with your platoon is really important. And I actually didn't recognize that at the time until I ended up I'm on 4 platoon, which is the best platoon. And
I can see Emily and Sinead rolling their eyes.
And that makes it worth it, right? Like, I was never drawn to be a firefighter growing up. It wasn't a dream or anything. I kind of fell into it, and I'm really glad that I did. So
that's awesome. I like that. And you're speaking kind of that fitness background. Did you have a fitness background coming into it, or was it just something just naturally fit and enjoy that?
No, I'm not naturally fit. I wasn't fit going into it. I'm barely fit now. I work very, very hard to stay fit. I had to work really, really hard to pass the physical. I wasn't even close to passing the physical for the fire department when I got hired. I worked really hard and I crushed it. And I've just kind of tried to keep that baseline ever since. I've had some kids. I've gotten hurt. I've had to rebuild a few times, and it never gets any easier, but it's always worth it to, know that you can go and do your job. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's one of the key things too. The thing I see from my side of things with Blue Line is, people, they get fit, they pass it, they get the job, and then they just fall off, and then that's it. And then they gain, the freshman 15, and then they're not working out, they're eating like crap, they're working shift work, they're not sleeping well, and that fitness goes by the wayside. But it is the number one thing that we need. We must be fit for our jobs. If we're not fit, we're useless. And so love to hear that that's something that you're really focused on, that you really try to stay, kind of on top of, even through having kids, even through, injuries and things like that. So phenomenal. Awesome. Emily, what about you? Tell me why 16 years as a firefighter? That's incredible. And like, what was it? What drew you to it?
I grew up in a household with a fire chief as a dad, so I didn't really have a choice. So my dad was the fire chief out in my small town when I was growing up. And I remember quite often waiting for him to come home because he was out working a fire. I remember helping him do overhaul when I was a kid. And then every fire practice I could get to, because it was a volley service, I would go and hang out with him and be there. So it was part of the culture that I grew up in. And that's where I got a taste of what it means to have an extended family at the firehouse. And from there, the people that I worked with at the volunteer fire department, a couple of them were paramedics, and they introduced me to EMS. And at the time I was in university to become a vet. And I did a couple ride-alongs with them on the ambulance. And I realized that the veterinarian world was not where I wanted to be. And so I switched into EMS. I did my first level of training as night school on top of my university. And then I switched at a university into EMS full-time. And I love being a paramedic. It is by far one of my favorite parts of being on the job. But I noticed over a couple of years that EMS has a different level, a different sort of friendship, a different sort of camaraderie. We have a lot of trauma bonding in EMS.
Yeah.
A lot of that dark humor. And I missed the team building that Roz referenced, like the one that you build with your platoon, the one that you build with your close friends that you train with. I missed a lot of that you don't really get a chance to build an EMS because it's you and your partner. And I wanted more than that. And I'm also an adrenaline junkie, which I think a lot of us in first response are.
Yeah.
And I missed running in when everybody runs out. And it's such a simple concept of put the wet stuff on the hot stuff. But there's also so much strategy to it. And especially once you get into complex structures and you go into rescue tactics, and everything revolves around the weakest link. And if you look at that in a negative way, it can become a lot of pressure. But if you look at it in the positive way of trying to make sure that whoever the weakest link is, they have the support that they need so that they aren't the one that collapses, you can just build on that. So you don't have to look at that in a negative way. You look at that in a, how do we help each other be the strongest so that we in itself are a team that can see through anything, because there's no way that you could be prepared for every situation in our job. And I love that about it. It's always unpredictable, both on the ambulance and on the fire truck. And it requires a lot of foundational skills that you can't let go lax. You have to be building on them all the time. And one of the pillars of that is your physical fitness. And there are so many skills in our job that if you don't have your physical fitness, you cannot do the skill properly. And you won't be able to pull your weight, for lack of better words. And I feel, especially like as a female in the fire service, there's a different level of expectation on us. And I think a lot of it is we put it on ourselves. It's not necessarily from the men, but we don't want to not carry our own weight. We want to make sure we are doing our part. And it's a love-hate relationship with that, because it's always a little bit of pressure on the back shoulder. Like Ross said, I had kids. There was a lot of rebuilding for me. There was a few different surgeries that I had to come back from, because you don't ever want that to hold you back. But it's, you got to look at it in a motivational way instead of something that's terrifying.
Yeah, absolutely. So is every City of Leduc Fire Service a fire and paramedic, or is there like just fire and just paramedics and then dual roles?
So if you want a full-time job in Leduc, you have to do medical and fire. You have a call-out pool. We call them paid-on-call casuals, that some of them don't have the medical training, but they will get called in on larger fire responses. So they'll be called in to man the fire trucks. And they don't necessarily need to have medical training, because a lot of the times for fire suppression, you just need manpower. We are very slimly staffed in Leduc, and we need every person that can come in on some of these big fire calls. So the people that are just doing fire response don't necessarily need medical training, but if you're going to be working full-time in Leduc, you do need to have both medical and fire training.
Okay. Awesome. And so for you, the growing up, the seeing it, that was really what kind of solidified, like, that's where I want to go. Was there anything else that you kind of, like you said, you kind of were thinking vet, and you were like, but was it always kind of that little nugget in the back of your head, like, I'm probably going to end up there?
I didn't know whether I wanted to do, like, I don't know if I'd be able to do just straight fire. I like the mix of medicine. I like the mix of fire. I like them both. I think they complement each other really well. It also keeps you on your toes, because there's a lot of knowledge on either side to make sure you're aware of at all times, and that you're studying, because the world is ever changing, both in medicine and in fire suppression. And especially more so now than ever, because we're studying so many line of duty deaths and we're trying to take so much information. So you have to always be learning. I love the critical thinking of medicine, and especially working at a more rural service, you get a lot more time to treat and respond to your treatments. And in the fire world, we are a bit of a slower service, but when we get a big structure fire, because we have a smaller staffing structure, you really have to pull your weight, and you have to work that much harder. And it's that much more rewarding when you work with your team and you see the success that you've done. And Roz and I call them bumper ice creams. After you've run a solid fire call, you go out for ice cream and you eat it on the bumper, and you just kind of like chill together. And like in that moment of realizing the accomplishment that you've had. And there's not a lot of jobs out there where you get to do that.
No, I love that. Bumper ice creams. Excellent. What a reward. We do love ice cream, and it's cold after a very hot fire. So love it. Okay, Sinead, let's jump to you. So 10 years with City of Leduc Fire Service. What drew you to fire? Was it always something you wanted to do, or was it kind of something you fell into?
Yeah, so I'm like Emily. I grew up actually around Leduc Fire. My dad worked for Leduc Fire for 30 plus years as a firefighter paramedic, and he ended his career as the fire chief. So I literally grew up in Leduc Fire Station. Basically, like, they were my family. So I enjoyed like the culture and like the family aspect of being a firefighter. I also grew up playing a lot of sports, so I like the idea of working together as a team. So I like the team aspect of being a firefighter paramedic. Roslyn and Emily pretty much said everything that I was going to say. So
No, I love it though. That's super cool. Because to me, like, so is it kind of surreal? Like, do you have surreal moments where you're like walking around the firehouse and you're like, I was here when I was like 5 and 6 and 8. And I remember, this when I was 10 with my dad, like, because I feel like literally growing up in that firehouse, it's like you'd have so many different kind of memories of different events that have gone through there. And wow, for your dad, congratulations to him, over 30 years of a career as a firefighter. Like, bravo, well done. I bet he's loving his retirement.
Yeah, my brother is also actually on Leduc Fire, so that's cool. Like, I have a twin brother, and so both of us fell in my dad's footsteps. But yeah, like, we grew up like going with my dad to like Tuesday night training, and like all of our birthday parties were at the fire hall, and we'd always go for fire truck rides, and we used to do Easter egg hunts there, and like Christmas parties and stuff. So yeah, it's cool. And like, even like my captain now, like, he's like a really good family friend, literally has watched me grow up. So yeah, it's cool. It's cool to like, I don't know, just like have memories of like being there when we were a kid, and then actually as doing the job now. And like, my dad also was in Firefit when it was big back in Leduc. I don't even know how many years ago. Yeah, 2012. So it was like cool for him to come and watch me do my first competition, because I grew up watching him and cheering him on the sideline. So we kind of swapped. So that was pretty cool.
That's very cool. And I did, a twin brother that's in the fire service too. So was your dad, like, did he want you to follow in his footsteps, or was he like, because most parents are like, don't do it. Go anywhere else. Don't do it. Don't do the job that I'm doing. Go be better than me. Or was he like, absolutely follow in my footsteps. Let's go.
I feel like a little bit of both. Like, I was like kind of like thinking nursing maybe, So my parents are like, oh yeah, you should do that. But like, I think he's like super proud that both his kids have followed in his footsteps and have made careers following in his footsteps and like done well at the job.
And so were you and your brother hired at the same time, or did you guys like apply at different times and then just kind of like filtered in?
He did fire first, and I went and got my EMR first. And then the following year, I was hired on with Leduc Fire. So we're a year apart. And then we went to medic school together.
Okay, cool. And so I was going to ask Emily, but so what platoon are you?
I'm 2 platoon. Roslyn and Emily are 4 platoon.
Oh, okay. So this is why Emily is giggling when Roz says 4 platoon is the best. Okay.
Yeah.
Sinead's like, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
It's funny because in the jail we were ABC shift, right?
Good.
Yeah, we were ABC shift in the jail. And so same thing. You'd be like, A shift is garbage. Like C shift is the best. And then like A shift's like C shift is garbage. We're the best. So I get it. I totally get it. Every shift thinks that they're the best. Okay. So now I want to jump into the Firefit side of things because this is so cool to me. And so Blue Line back in February, we teamed up with Edmonton Fire and their Firefit team members, Jordan King and a couple of the other guys. And we put on an event at Blue Line just to show off like what the fire fitness test is about, the obstacles and things like that. We had over 75 people show up to basically, some of them were in the process to get in with Edmonton Fire or with some of the surrounding detachments because St. Albert was hiring at the same time, Strathcona County was hiring at the same time, and just kind of try out the different fitness things. It was super cool. And that's kind of when I first started like learning about this Firefit thing and then started following some things on Instagram. And like now my feed is just blowing up with Firefit stuff. And it is unreal the athleticism that you guys have to compete in these events. Like I watch it and I think, and the time, like under a minute or like what I think I saw there was like the record holder got under 110 or something. A male got under 110 and it's like crazy.
Seconds and 70 milliseconds, I believe. We were there for that race. It was crazy. It was amazing.
Right? Like I'm thinking like he did that in a minute. Like what the fuck? Like it's incredible. It's incredible. So maybe Emily, walk me through like what the course is. So for our listeners that have never seen it, never heard of it, what is the course? What are the requirements? And then we'll talk about you guys slaying it and qualifying for nationals.
So the requirements to do the course is you have to be affiliated with some kind of a fire service within Canada. So that's your first requirement. After that, it's just kind of if you feel that you are physically fit. They don't really have any minimum demands to get into it. There's a lot of people that don't want to sign up for the punishment of the course. But so it is of your own free will. And that's what it comes down to is if you want to do it, you could do it as long as you're affiliated with the fire department. The course itself is the same for individuals and relays. The only one that's different is the Tech 2 relay that you do as a team. And we'll talk about that one after. But the basic course setup is you start in your full gear and on air as an individual. And you're going to carry around a 45-pound pack of highball on your shoulder up 6 flights of stairs. I think it was like 62 or...
It's a lot of stairs.
It's a lot of stairs. It feels like it never ends. Once you get to the top, you drop your pack, and then you're going to do a hoist up that 6 flights of stairs. It's about 44 pounds, but then they say that when we're wearing our bunker mitts, which is a requirement of the course, it's the equivalent of about an 80-pound pull because you lose the majority of your grip strength with these gloves on. So you have to hoist that, carry it all the way over to the top of the tower, and then you climb down. You have to hit every stair on the way down, otherwise you get docked seconds. At the bottom, you hop onto what's called a Kaiser prop, and it's supposed to be a forcible entry prop. So you use a sledgehammer, and you have to move. Sometimes they're hydraulic, sometimes they're just on a sled, but you have to move an iron or a metal chunk. I can't remember how heavy it is, but you have to move it about 12 inches with the hammer. You throw your hammer into a box, and then you start running through cones. It's about 110 feet of zigzag cones down to where you grab a charged hose line. So it's a 45 millimeter hose line, which is what we use for a transverse attack line. So that would be like a single man hose that you would pull into any kind of residential structure to start your initial attack. So you have to carry that down back about 80 feet, and then you open it up and you have to spray a target that's about 20 feet in front of you. Once the target goes down, you close your bail, you drop the hose, and then you run into what's called the dummy drag. Randy is 175 pounds plus his gear. So you're looking at 180 to 185. And you pick him up and you haul his ass 110 feet backwards. You have to pick him up. You are not allowed to throw him over your shoulders. You're not allowed to drag him by the arm. You have to pick him up off the ground and pull him back 110 feet. And that's the last section of the race. And I learned from experience that if you push too hard in the beginning, you don't have enough at the end. But that's usually what kills people, especially the women. The Rescue Randy is the hardest part of the race because of it being at the end, and you have to use everything that's in you to get him across that line. So that's the race. All of it's being done on air. So the other part of it that a lot of people underestimate is the energy that's spent pulling air in and pushing it out, because it's not just free breathing. You are working against valves in and you're pushing against valves out. So having to use muscles to do breathing when you're already exerting yourself in something that's supposed to be non-active work is massively exhausting when you're already tired. You were dog tired. And then everything on top of that is all based off of the weather. So you have no control over the weather, as we all know. And the only time Firefit shuts down is if there's lightning in the sky. That is the only thing that will shut them down. So if it's raining, you're still doing it. If it's windy as heck, you're still doing it. And if it is hot as hot can get, you are still doing it. So, which mimics, all of these are designed to mimic different aspects of our job. So the tower is supposed to mimic a high-rise structure fire. The hoist is supposed to mimic having to pull equipment onto a roof structure or into second stories. Your dummy drag, I think, is pretty self-explanatory. We have to haul people out. And ironically, 175 pounds is not the average size of a person.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Your structural or your forcible entry, I think, is pretty self-explanatory. We get to break down doors and we don't have to apologize for it, but you've got to break it down. And then we don't really run on scene, but you've got to move with a purpose. That's for sure. And then the hose drag quickly is also, again, for us in our job, every second counts. A structure fire that's not fully engulfed yet, say it's limited to one room. If it's a contents fire in one room, 30 seconds can make or break whether we're keeping that house being fully engulfed. So all of this on a time budget is supposed to mimic the demands of our job. And you having to push through when you are physically exhausted and you don't want to anymore, but you still have to finish, is what our job demands of us, because we don't get to say, okay, I'm tired, I tap out, I need a coffee break. That's not a thing. If the tones go off and the fire is burning, we go. And I think it's one of the reasons why, like a lot of us that do Firefit, it does push you. It pushes you in so many different ways. And it's really rewarding when we finish it and you know that you're getting better with your time. It's very addictive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Addictive.
Well, it's so funny that you said, because like that's what Jordan said. He's like, the camaraderie within the team is amazing because you're working with the team and you're pushing each other and you're training together. And he's like, but then you're also like against yourself every single time. And so like every single time you're like, oh, I could shave seconds here. Like, oh, I could do better on this part, or I could, my technique could be better on this part. He says, so like every time you're running or every time you're training, there's always something that you're trying to get better at. There's always something that you can improve on. And he said, that's the thing too. It's so addicting because you can do better. There's always something that can be worked on. And I love the move with purpose. I'd never heard this until we ran this fire event. And it was like at every single station. Okay, so you're not running, but you are moving with purpose. You are moving with purpose. And I was like, that's fucking awesome, because yes, you should be moving with purpose. Like, it's great. It's great. Okay. So Sinead, what is the part that you love? What's the one that you excel at? And what's the one that you hate in that course?
For sure, the hose hoist. That is my bread and butter. I love doing that.
She's got a crazy good voice.
Yeah. The thing I think I hate the most is the stairs. I got short little legs and I don't move very fast up those stairs. But yeah, the hose hoist is definitely my favorite thing. It's always been my favorite thing. Probably because it comes easy to me. It's one of the easier things, but yeah.
Well, and there's a lot of technique to it. Again, that was one of the things I learned. I was like, oh, like the grip, the way you're gripping it, the way you're pulling it, like not pulling it side to side, because then you're wasting energy and like things like that. I was like, oh, like there's very much technique to it to do it quickly. So yeah, I love that. And I'm with you. I'm short. I'm only 5 feet. And so I have those stubby little legs too. And then to me, I always think And now you're doing it in bunker gear with boots on. So it's not even like you're like light on your feet with runners doing this. Like you're in fucking boots and bunker gear. And like the other part, again, like I think people forget, like you're on air. Like you're not just breathing, like you said, like you want to, like you are breathing through your SCBA, which is the worst. I was on our tactical team for Remand, and we had to do our fitness test with our gas mask on, and the gas mask, so not even on air, but holy fuck, I was dying, like sucking and like trying to breathe and then trying to breathe out. And just like, oh, like as soon as I was done, I ripped that mask off my face and I was like, like in the fucking corner, like dying. I was like, I don't ever want to do that again. But it's true, because you don't get to just take your fucking mask off in the middle of a riot with pepper spray and like OC everywhere. Just like you guys can't just take your mask off in the middle of a fire. Like you have to learn how to deal with that, how to breathe with that, how to not panic when you're like, and you can't really breathe because you're exerting yourself so much. So yeah, completely understand that. Emily, you gave such a wicked description of that. I like, again, rock star. So what is your favorite and what do you hate?
My favorite is the Kaiser. I don't know why. I have a love-hate relationship with that hammer, and it moves the way I need it to move. So the Kaiser's my favorite. Ooh, least favorite, I would probably have to go with the stairs too. Even though I have long legs, they are not as strong as I need them to be yet. So no matter how good you feel about every other step, the stairs are massively humbling. So humbling, because you spend so much time and energy on those stairs, and that will pave the way for the rest of your race. If you push too hard on the stairs, you will lose the rest of the race.
Yeah. You definitely have to find like a balance on how fast you should go, because you want to reserve some energy for the rest of the course.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to skip stairs on the way up?
Yes.
Yeah. But that's
okay.
Like if you skip stairs on the way up, it's more of like a strength thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't skip, then it's more of a cardio thing. So if you're stronger, if you have strong legs, then it's better to skip. But if you're stronger with your cardio, then it's better to just single step it.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. And like you were saying, Emily, like if you go too hard at the beginning and then you're fucked at the end, because it's the same with like the law enforcement fitness test. I see it all the time. Usually it's young boys, young men who are like, I got this, bitch, I can do this. And I'm like, okay, well, I've told you, if you go out on a 21-second lap on the first lap, you'll be walking by lap 5. And they're all like, oh yeah, okay. Yup. And sure as fuck, every single time they go out at 21 seconds and I'm like, you need to slow down. Like, I got this. And they fucking off they go. And by lap 5, they're looking at me like eyes bugging out of their head, like, oh my God. And they can't move their legs and they're like fucking power walking the course. And I'm like, I fucking told you, man. Like it's about being able to maintain that cardiovascular endurance throughout the duration of the test, not going out like a jackrabbit and then walking, right? Or they'll get through the obstacle course, but when it comes to the push-pull machine, which is all strength and technique and, core strength and things, they can't even push the machine up. And during practice, they were like slamming the machine around like, big gym boys. And then they get there and they can't even push it up. And they're like, you put extra weight on. No, I didn't, man. That's the same fucking weight as when you warmed up. You just are dead right now. Like, so sorry. So I totally get that too, about you can't go out too fast, but then you have to have that fine balance of like, I can't go out too fast, but I can't go out too slow, because there's not like, you can't, I'm assuming you can't really try and make up time during the dummy drag, because that's really fucking tough and you're like gassed at the end. So it's not a space where you can be like, oh, I'll just make it up at the end. Like, I do love, because when I've watched it, they have like the big mat that you guys just like fucking haul back and then just like backflop onto the mat, and then everybody comes and helps you take your gear off really fast. And I'm like, that is great teamwork. It's like a NASCAR pit crew that just comes and like and like takes stuff off for you, which I think is great. That's awesome.
I think I never appreciated until like our coach put it into perspective to us. Is a lot of people look at the stairs and it's like, okay, well, go run some stairs with a weighted vest and you're fine. And that's all the training. But ever since we started working with our coach, she's created a different dynamic for my understanding of like full body engagement, because one of the things that she pointed out is you can run those stairs and be super fast on the stairs, but if you don't engage your core while holding a weight in an awkward position and then run those stairs, one of the things that she swears by taxes everybody is your fatigue from your core activation and keeping it maintained the entire race. And that's something that I know I would have underestimated until she started getting us to train that way. So it's not just a simple doing leg presses and running stairs that doesn't fit and fill the entire expectation, the needs of what this race includes. If you keep your core activated for whether it's 1.5 minutes to 4 minutes and keep it activated and tight, and then use it, and then use all of your other major muscle groups, and then throw in cardio, and then throw in heat, that's how you have to practice, because that's what you're doing. And I think I really underestimated that persistent engagement of the core until I started training with our coach, and she was getting us to do that engagement with different movements. Because in her book, she's like, if you could do the whole course if you didn't carry the high ball up the stairs, you would feel so different than if you were constantly training and doing this with that core engagement. And she said there's so many people that would be able to do each section just fine, but you put it all together and you engage that core. That's what's going to take people out step by step, because they don't train all together from top to bottom exercise. They just isolate your arms. They'll do curls and then they'll do a leg. They don't do it all together. And that's something that I think is underrated.
Yeah. And so what does training for this look like? Because you guys only compete in the summertime, but I'm assuming training is all year round so that you are ready to go come competition season. Is it a weekly practice that you guys do? I'm assuming you do everything, things on your own, obviously, as well. But what does that training look like?
So we've been really lucky we were introduced to Jordan King, and he's been a fantastic resource for us and got us connected to go run some evolutions on the out of service tower that they have in Edmonton. So we try to go there once a week during season. And then the three of us have been meeting up at least once a week, probably since September, to do, at first it started as just group workouts. We were mimicking some of the evolutions, the different exercises, the different pieces of the race. Tasks. So we would practice different tasks. We would do it for time. We would do it in multiple evolutions, just see how we went. And then we started working with our coach. I started working with her in January, and these girls joined me a couple months later, where we started doing, it's basically a 5 to 6 day a week workout regime where conditioning is part of every day, sadly. And then there's strength evolutions, and she changes things up as to whether we do the conditioning at the end or in the middle. Are we doing a strength day? Are we doing VO2 training? And ever since stepping up with her, it's been a different level of exercising.
I will say though, for me personally, prior to this, I would do what you consider the bro split, and basically just go lift weights at the gym, and then maybe go on the Stairmaster, do that for a little bit. That was my cardio. But since training for Firefit, I have added in a lot of more conditioning and it's almost like HIIT workouts, I guess. And I will say that those workouts, you feel way more accomplished afterwards, because you actually feel like you did something. Prior to that, I never even worked a sweat in the gym. And now when I do these workouts, I'm dripping in sweat. Yeah. And I feel it's a lot more rewarding because the workouts are geared towards our job. So it makes you more prepared for your job. So you're ready for basically anything that's thrown at you on the fire ground because of what you're doing in the gym.
Yeah, I think that's huge too, because we see it all the time at Blue Line. Same thing. It's that I love that you call that the bro split. I've never heard that, but that's prime. But it is true, because and then when you say no, you need to do cardio, I do cardio. I'm 10 minutes on the Stairmaster, ain't cutting it. 10 minutes walking on the treadmill at a 3% incline, ain't cutting it. You need to be sprint intervals, you need to be hill intervals, you need to be stair intervals, and these are not 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off intervals, your 40s and 20s, your minutes and 30s, your minute and 15s, you 2 minutes and a minute, you need to have that conditioning, because if you don't have that, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how strong you are. If you don't have that cardiovascular endurance, that conditioning, you're going to fall to pieces. So yeah, love to hear that. And it's awesome that you guys have a dedicated coach who understands the course, understands the requirements. I want to jump back to the team event, because we didn't get to touch on it. So the the individual ones, so you're doing all of those tasks just by yourself, running for the best time. You might not know this, I'm assuming you do, but what's the best time for a female for accomplishing that?
I think it's 152.
Okay.
Down there. It's within 5 seconds of 152. Our coach is actually like over 10 times world champion for the females. And she was the first female in Canada history to break 2 minutes. So she's who we're coaching through with Fit by Fire. She's based out of Ontario. So, but I don't know what the current world record is for females. It's around the 150, 152 mark. Somewhere in there. Yeah.
Wow. Like again, just even thinking about running up 6 flights of stairs. Like for our listeners that are trying to run up 6 flights of stairs, time yourself. That's just running with not carrying the hose thing on your shoulder. Like time how long it takes you to 6 flights of stairs, people. It's going to be like, it's just crazy. The timing is crazy for this stuff. It blows my mind. And so for the team environment or the team event, what does that look like?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Give her Sinead. Light her up.
So yeah, for the team, you can obviously have, I think you can have up to 5.
Yeah, 3 to 5.
So we're obviously a team of 3 right now, always looking for extra people to come on board to join our team. But basically you break it up however you want. For us, we had Emily do the stairs and then I did the hose hoist, came down and then handed off to Emily. She did the Kaiser and then handed back off to me. I did the cones and the charged hose line and then Roslyn did the dummy. There's some people that will have like one person do like half the course and then only another person do the dummy drag. So yeah, it's kind of like up to the people, how many people you have and how you want to break it up.
You want to try to play to your team's strengths. So like Sinead has the best voice of the team. I had the best Kaiser and Roz has the quickest pickup. And because of her height, she can step bigger steps with the dummy drag. So you'll see that a lot of the taller females have a bit of an advantage over shorter. That's the same for men. The taller the guy, the higher you can get the dummy and the bigger the steps you could take back. So Roz can get him up a lot quicker than I can. And then because of her height, she can take really big steps. Roz used to be a power lifter. So she's always been really good at getting him up and in a good position. And one of the things that we are told by multiple other teams is to save your dummy drag person for just the dummy drag. So they can basically just haul ass. And then we were going to make sure we run the stairs, but then somebody else told us one of the things you can save as well is the person on the hoist, because if you can save their energy from the stairs to just hoist, then they can focus more on just the pulling instead of trying to catch your breath after the stairs, because the stairs kills you.
Yeah.
So we split it up that way to try to play to each other's strengths. And that might change as we like look at our numbers, as we train ourselves, we might shift those things, but you want to pick the people that have the fastest times on the different tasks and put them there. And then if it's a task that takes a lot of energy, like the dummy drag or the hoist, what can you do to make sure that they can spend that energy on that task to make it the fastest?
Yeah, amazing. And so is the team time, you're still going for that like 152, or you're trying to go for that like same amount of time, but now you've just added more people in?
If anything, you want less than what an individual race would be, because you think about it, you're doing more sections of the race fully ready to go. And like, I think I can speak for all of us. I found the relay a lot more fun because you know that you're not dying.
Yeah.
You can leave it all out on the floor and know that you're done in 15 seconds. So who cares if you like just dump it?
Yeah.
Because you're not having to deal with the dummy drag at the very end. Or for Roz, she gets to go straight into this lift fresh and ready to go. And she's done hopefully in 35 seconds after she hauls his ass down the line. So it changes when you realize that you're not saving yourself for the end. You're just putting it all out in whatever task you're at. So I had a lot of fun with the relay.
Yeah. You also don't have to wear a mask for the relay too.
Yeah,
so
you're
that's
not
also different.
Yeah. So that makes a huge difference.
Yes.
Huge difference. Okay. So Roz, what is your favorite part of the course and what's the part that you dislike? So obviously I'm assuming it's the dummy drag because you kill it, but what's your favorite and what do you hate?
My favorite part is, probably the dummy drag because I'm good at it. Like Emily said, I used to be a power lifter, so squatting and deadlifting isn't super challenging for me to get down and get low. The hoist is my least favorite. That's why I couldn't compete in the individuals this year, is because I hurt my wrist doing the hoist. And then every time I tried it, I heard it all over again. So after talking to my coach, we decided to just pull races this year because there's always another season.
Yeah, and smart. And you don't want to, because like you don't want to injure yourself doing this, and then now you're off the job as well, right? And you're off on injury and you can't work. So yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah.
I had heard, too, for the dummy, like getting it as high up on your chest as you can, like to get the dummy up as high as you can so that it's not like banging into your legs and slowing your stride down. So yeah, that power lifting, that like power cleans, things like that would be exactly like right up your alley. That's amazing.
Yeah. And I've got the height, so it helps. And like, I've got these long ass arms, so I can really wrap him the way the girls can't. So
yeah, it's like one thing that I find, like, if you don't have super long arms, it's hard to like actually grip around him. So you have to like figure out a way that you'll be able to grip around him and hold that grip. Because once you lose him, it's like the worst. Like trying to get him back up is
Really
brutal.
sucks.
So we've got nationals coming up September 13th to 15th. So we're 6 weeks out? Yeah, 6 weeks out. What's the prep looking like? How are we feeling? Are we thinking we're going to be going in strong, ready to rock, ready to slay? Or are we still a little, maybe we can tighten some things up during our training, stuff like that?
So we debated it as a group and as indies for Sinead and I, and we ended up Sinead has a scheduling conflict. She had something pre-booked on the day that we have to do seating around for relay. So we're actually unable to do nationals for the relay. I am now flying solo. I'm the only one going to nationals for the individual racing. So I am booked for racing on the Friday. And then depending on how I do on the Friday, we'll decide whether I go into the final round on the Saturday. So I just took 3 days off of my training because I blew out my back here a couple days ago. And tonight, hopefully after this, I'll be starting my running and then going back into training again starting tomorrow. But it's pretty heavy over the next few weeks. When I spoke to my coach, I'll have another 4 weeks of strength training and trying to push my strength as far as I can. And then the last 3 weeks will be focused on basically endurance and VO2 training and trying to increase my cardio capacity, because for the little bit of strength that I would gain in that 3 weeks, I would gain much more in my endurance and my VO2 capacity if I just focus on that. So it sounds like it's going to be some heavy strength training for a few weeks and then straight into some cardiovascular for a few weeks, which I love. I love hill sprints. They're so much fun.
You know what? Sometimes it's just the attitude. When you say it, if you say it enough times, you might start to believe it. Maybe.
Someday I won't mind that I almost fall off the treadmill and die every other day, but that's fine. We'll get there.
But you know what? Better when you suffer with other people.
Yes.
Mhm.
So I gotta say, it's been a little bit hard for scheduling, but these girls, even though they're not prepping for national, they are still there with me. We are trying to coordinate workouts every week. They're making every attempt to come to the tower with me to train. So even though they're now kind of in the maintenance / long-term improvement goals, because they're training now to compete next year, they're not leaving me stranded, which is nice.
That's totally awesome.
Yeah.
And so is there any, is there a male side of City of Leduc that did Firefit too? Or is it just the women are repping and here we go?
Not this year. It's just us girls this year. We have been dropping comments and bugging people and doing every single thing that we can do to call their shit and get people into this next year. So we're recruiting as hard as we can, because there's been a lot of people surprised that we're bringing an all-female team from one department. And so we're working on it. We're busting people's balls to see what we can do to get some people out on the floor next year, especially since we're hosting in Leduc next year.
Yeah.
We're really hoping to have an increased presence, both with other females and some guys at the fire department. There's been a lot of interest, and I got to say that's been a cool thing to see, because this started with Roz telling us that she's doing this and telling us she wanted us to do it with her. And so Roz was the instigator. We joined in. And then ever since then, us doing the group training at the fire hall and planning these and then going to competitions, it's created a really good conversation at the fire hall, and it's created that camaraderie. It's created the competition where a lot of us are type A's, so that internal competition is the thing. And we're really trying to feed off of that. And it's been nice seeing different people engage in it and join us at the tower and talk about competing next year. It's been nice.
That is really cool. I love that you're bringing an all-female team from a single agency. That's amazing. But yes, they were still trying to draw people in. We're still trying to go for it. And so our listeners know, save it, put it in your calendars now. June 5th to the 7th, Nationals in Leduc.
Not Leduc. It's just a provincial competition. We're not hosting nationals. Yeah, we're just doing one of the competitions in Alberta. Yeah.
Okay, so June 5th to the 7th, Leduc Rec Center. Come out, watch. Let's cheer these ladies on. Blue Line, we're going to be there. I'm looking into some sponsorship stuff for you guys because I am 1000% behind this. I fucking can't wait to see you guys absolutely destroy and do amazing, and all your hard work and your training pay off. Come nationals for you, Emily, and for Roz and Sinead, next season when you guys are competing. So absolutely love this. Okay, I want to kind of wrap up with some of kind of fun rapid fire questions because I do love these ones. And I think you guys are going to have really interesting answers too because you all are very different. Like, y'all have very different personalities, but you all also have like that thread of like competitive, like athletic, let's fucking go, which I love. It's the best. I love it. So the first one I'm going to ask is, what is your favorite food or snack while you're on shift?
Chocolate.
Chocolate. Roz's chocolate. Okay. Yep. Great.
You eat her chocolate, she will come after you.
Yes. Emily's favorite snack is my chocolate.
You offer it to me, so I eat it.
She's offering to be nice. She doesn't actually want you to take it.
That's 100% right.
Celery and peanut butter. What? Celery and peanut butter. That is my snack.
That's your favorite snack.
Yes. Oh my God.
Roz is calling you out. Roz is like, that's bullshit. No. What's her actual snack, Roz? What's her actual snack?
What are those fucking things called? High chews. I've seen her crush a bag of high chews at 2 a.m. on the ambulance.
I haven't had them since we started training for Firefit. Can't just gotta go up the stairs, Roz.
Just throws her under the bus. Excellent. Okay, Sinead, what's yours?
Donut. Oh yeah, probably donut. That's definitely true. Yeah, 100%. But it's got to be a good donut, like not Tim Hortons. We're not eating those.
She's married to a cop. There's a different expectation of donuts. Raised expectations.
You totally do, though. It's true. Tim Hortons donuts suck. They're garbage. When we used to have the rule, if you came in late at the jail, you had to bring in donuts. And if people brought Tim Hortons, we were like, no, you should have gone to the Italian bakery. What is this? What is this? Yeah. Good donuts.
I was gonna say whenever we go to the tower, Sinead's like, we either need to stop at Starbucks or Crumble. Which one are we stopping at on our way home?
It's one or the other.
Excellent. Okay. Number 2 is, what is your favorite piece of equipment that you get to use while you're on the job?
Oh, mine's ladders for sure. Ladder flips all day, every day.
The Halligan.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been having a ton of fun with the deck gun lately.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Okay, what is that?
It's like Jesus, someone help me out here on how to describe this.
It's a giant water gun on top of the truck that shoots water.
Yeah.
Sick. Yes. That would be mine. Absolutely. Yes. That's really cool. We have that truck in Leduc. I didn't know that we had that truck in Leduc.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have guns on all of our trucks.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Okay, and the Halligan is what?
It's got a fork on one end, an adze, and then a spike, a pick. So it's basically like the very stereotypical firefighter tool, but it's extremely versatile. It can help you climb walls. It can help you tear down walls. It'll help you take a door. And it's got enough weight to it that it'll do a lot of damage. I love that tool. I think it's very versatile and it's just badass. That's my favorite one.
Yes. Okay. Like it. Okay. And last one, what is a piece of advice that you would give to and I'm going to specify this, to a young female that is looking to get into the career as a firefighter or as a paramedic or as this dual role?
Don't close the door before you've even tried to open it. Don't say you can't just because it seems out of your league. Don't say you can't just because you're intimidated by what other females look at. If you actually put in the work and you try it and you decide that it's not for you, that's fine. But don't shut it down until you actually try it. And don't let somebody tell you that you can't, because anybody fucking can.
Yes, I fucking love that piece of advice. Yes, mic drop on that one, because it's totally true. As women, we do have that, oh, I couldn't do that. Like, look at how fit those girls are. Look at how tall or strong those girls are. Like, I'm short, I couldn't do that. Like, you never know. You never know until you try. And you can, I will say the same thing as you. You can train for anything. If you have the discipline, the dedication, the commitment to it, you can train for anything. You can do anything if you're willing to do the work for it. So yes, absolutely. Roz, what's yours?
Just go for it. What's the absolute worst that happens? You don't make it? Fucking try again next year. Honestly.
Yep, that is another one too, because that's another thing as women. Oh no, I did try. I put myself out there and I didn't get it. So I must not be good enough. No, it just wasn't your time. Right then just wasn't your fucking time. So give her a shot again in a year. It might be your time.
Firefit, because like every time we compete in Firefit, your goal is to just beat your last climb. So if you try to recruit this year and it doesn't pan out because you failed something, you have it within your control to come back next year and fix that. So even if you don't the first time, you've now identified where your weaknesses are, you've identified where your strength is lacking, and you can fix that. So you can come back and do it again if you want to. If you decide it's not for you, then that's fine. But if all it was you weren't strong enough to drag the dummy, you can work for 12 months and drag that dummy. So you just have to decide how much you want it, because Roz is right. Just go for it. And if you've missed out on it, then do something about it.
Yep. Love that. Yep. Okay, Sinead, what's yours?
Oh boy. Yeah, basically the same as Roslyn and Emily. I would just say, like, if it's truly something that you want to do, put in the work, and I'm sure you will be successful. Like, honestly, anybody can do this job. It doesn't matter if you're female or male. There are very strong males out there, but there are very strong females out there. And there are very weak males out there that probably do half the stuff that some females can. So it truly doesn't matter what gender you are. Just put in the work and you'll be successful.
You guys nailed it. I'm telling you, like, for our listeners, these three women are fucking amazing. They are badass. They're literally the definition of badass. I am so glad. So the way that I found these lovely ladies is I got an email through a work site saying, "Oh, look at this. Let's congratulate these three women who, did these things for Firefit." And so then out of the blue, I was like, I'm just going to email them. And I was like, "Hey, by the way, I saw this email and I think it's really cool. And you want to be on my podcast?" And they were all like, "All right, sure." And so here we are. But I'm telling you guys, like, you all are absolutely incredible. And I'm so excited to see where this goes for you. Like, because I think you're just breaking the ice. I think there's this whole new level that's going to unlock for you guys. That's going to be incredible. And I can't wait to see it. So thank you for choosing to be on the podcast. Thank you for taking your time and your energy. I know you guys are all super busy shift workers. You got families and things like that. So I really, really appreciate it. I know, again, our listeners are going to love this episode. So if you are listening and you are loving it, I want you right now to text your best friend and be like, "Guess what? I just listened to this podcast and there's these three fucking incredible women that are firefighters that are Firefit, and you need to listen to it too, because I'm sure the world needs to hear and meet these women, and share it with your friends." And on that note, I'm going to wrap it up. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your night. I hope you guys kill it at Nationals. Good luck, Emily. I'll be checking in with you to see how it went. And I'll be there June 5th to 7th next year, 2026, while you guys are killing it in Leduc. I can't wait to see it. Okay, follow me on Instagram at Leduc Firefit. Love it.
And the other thing I would add for anybody that's even considering this or debating whether this is a thing, or even if you just wanted to compete and see if you could show us and make us eat our words, that this is really hard to do. At next year's Leduc Firefit competition, we are hosting a civilian night on the Friday night, and you can enter with a 3 to 5 person team to run the Firefit course and try it. And you do not have to be a firefighter. Anybody can join. Anybody can register as a team. We are putting it together and we are hosting a civilian night. So if you want to come and try it out, please be our guest. There's no expectations. If you wanted to do your own best on the side for dignity and for who gets bragging rights, go for it. But keep an eye out, because as we get our event pages set up and everything, we're going to be posting about that. And we would love for anybody to come out and even just try it. And we'll see if you feel okay on the stairs or not, because they're actually really hard.
I'm putting a blue line team in. I'm gonna find people that want to do this. I'm gonna make a blue line team. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not fucking doing that. But I will fucking cheer. Have the water at the end. I'll be the pit crew at the end that's ready to help out.
I'm working on getting a Fortis team submitted in there because these power line guys keep on talking about how they're the true first responders because we have to wait for them so much. So we're going to see what they feel like after this race. So we get 20 people in there. We're going to see if we can get some cops in there. We would love, and any civilian team. There's been talks about a couple gyms putting in some teams. So we would love that.
Yes. Okay. So stay tuned for that, listeners. Check the show notes. All the information is going to be in there. Again, at Leduc Firefit. Follow them. They're incredible women. And yeah, thank you guys so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Well, that's it for today, folks. Thanks so much for tuning in, listening, giving me your time, your energy, and your attention. I completely appreciate it. Make sure you check out our next episode with another badass female first responder anywhere you get your favorite podcasts. And follow us on Instagram and Facebook at bluelinefitnesstesting.com. I hope you stay safe, keep your head on a swivel, and watch your six. Blue Line Fitness Testing is a premier law enforcement fitness testing and training center based in Edmonton. Specializing in helping individuals prepare for the physical demands of a career in law enforcement, we offer comprehensive fitness evaluations, specialized training programs, and classes tailored to meet the unique needs of our clients. Our facility hosts a range of classes and are committed to fostering a supportive and empowering environment where clients can achieve their fitness goals. Our team includes experienced trainers who bring specialized expertise in law enforcement, self-defense, personal training, and rehabilitation. We engage through our community through challenges, events, and our podcast, and we are dedicated to helping individuals succeed in their fitness journeys and career aspirations in law enforcement. Are you looking to get started with your career? Come see Blue Line Fitness Testing, and we'll get you there.